Hi guys, today we're going to talk about this move, what we could have done to catch it and how we could have avoided our stop loss getting hit before the actual move happened. So before this whole move happened, we had anticipated for it to happen, but our stop loss was a little bit tight because we weren't expecting that much of a big movement. So I posted this trade just before or a little bit before the news happened, and this is how we were expecting it to happen. So this is what happened. So we could have caught the trade that we were anticipating first, and we could have had runners all the way to the top. So our stop loss was just below, or the reversal or the rejection from the support, our low, and we're anticipating price to reach the next resistance as our first TP. And if price was able to break out from this area, we could have caught it all the way to the top. So we had a very tight stop loss around this area, which could have been the order block, as this was the last bearish candle before the reversal happened. So that's why we had our stop losses here, because we knew price could drop to here and then continue going up, but we did not anticipate price reaching the support first before it goes all the way up. So if we wanted our trade to be safe, we should have put our stop loss a little bit below, or 10 pips below the support low. Is always the safest area to put your stop loss, as most trades will hit your stop loss within the 10 pip range, above or below your support or your resistances, and then price would reverse and go into your direction. So looking at the chart, this is what we had. This is the price action we had. We saw price coming back to the low, right? It hit our support and then it reversed. So this became our order block, right? So we knew our order block was right here. So when price came up and then when the bearish candle that came down rejected, right, we entered our trade as we were expecting price to hit our resistance first around this area before we can leave a runner to reach the full move if price did break out, right? So the very first mistake we did was we did not check the news. We did not anticipate news happening. So if we had checked if news was going to happen, we probably were going to set our limits, our buy limits, at the low, and then our stop loss is at least below this week fill, because price also had high chances that price could do a week fill first before it pulls up. Why would price do a week fill first? It would do a week fill first because there will be a lot of retail traders who probably entered their trades right here, or some like us who entered our trades right here after price had rejected, right? So they will want to take out all of those stop losses before price reverses to go into the direction. That's the first thing that we have to keep in mind. So even if we didn't have this weak fill, let's say we did not have this weak fill and we only had this support, right? When price rejected this area, if we had checked that we had news, we could have put our stop loss at least 10 pips below the support. Why 10 pips? Because when price fakes out, it normally fakes out into a 10 pip range before price pulls back. That's why we say when you want a successful breakout, you have to highlight your 10 pip range and you have to wait for price to close out of that 10 pip range. Then you have a successful breakout. So that's how we could have set our stop losses in a proper manner, or in a more more good risk management, hoping that we could have, not even hoping, but we would know that price was going to reject this low for price to continue going higher. How would we know that price had more chance of going higher than going lower? The first thing that I would love to highlight is how price has been failing to break this low. This has been a very strong low and price has been failing for a very long time to break that low. So that tells us that price had all the chances to reach this high, and if price is going to go any lower, now would be the good chance for it to do some kind of a consolidation or even a fake out before it comes all the way down. The reason why I'm saying price had to come all the way up here is because when price met this high, price dropped. It did not retest the high. Yes, price could have put back up, right, and then it found resistance right here, but it still did not retest the high. So price had to come back to the high before it can even think of breaking this low, because this is a very strong resistance, that has held. If it held here, there were more chances that it was going to hold again right here. Our first signs that price was holding was this rejection. This was our first signal, the best rejection signal, and then we had price creating a new low right here. So the moment price created a new low right here, it pushed price higher. It gave the odds to price being bullish. If price had broke this low, right, and then sort of traded below this low that it made, then yes, we could have anticipated for price to continue going down. But the moment it created a new low which did not break, it meant price was going to go higher. So if you are looking at the analysis on the 4-hour time frame, we entered on this candle. This was our confirmation, our rejection confirmation. So if we had checked that there is news, if we knew that there was news and we were anticipating price to move into our direction, even if there was news. But if we knew there was news, then we could have at least managed to put our stop loss below this low, or even some 10 pips below the low of our support, because price was showing a more bullish view from the price action it had given us this day, when the news came out, and from our previous week's analysis, as we had been anticipating for price to keep going higher as long as it does not break this low. So we could have at least managed to put our stop loss somewhere safe, so that we could have been in the trade when we were in the trade before news came in. So when news comes out, we are still in the trade, but our stop loss would be safe. So when the market moves into our direction, all we are doing is collecting our first take profit, our second take profit, and then we hold the runner for the full move. So that is the mistake that we did, that we did not check the news, and our stop loss was a little bit too tight. The stop loss was fine. How tight it was fine if there was no news. If there was no news, there were chances that price was not going to come back to retest again before it pushes higher. So right now, we know that the first mistake was we did not check the news. That's very important. The second, our stop loss was a little bit too tight. Your stop loss being too tight when there is no news, that's okay, that's very much okay. But as good traders, or as mindful traders, we also should have kept in mind that price was still near support. So if price is still near support, there are chances that price could come back to retest before it goes higher. Gold always retests. That's the thing. Gold always retests. That's what I always say. So we should have remembered that and used that information to our advantage. That's how we could have caught the move and how we could have avoided our stop loss being hit. That's all for today. I hope you guys understood that. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Or if you want to correct me or anything, just send me a message too. Bye.